Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. We have an exciting episode of Movie Talk here today. We're going to be talking Wolverine 3, Futuristic Robin Hood, and maybe some candy assery abounds. Ashley, who's joining us on today's show?
Also here is Jon Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on? You know, we just recorded Collider Heroes. That'll be on later today. And we got a new friend here at Collider. It's Jargles the Spider. It's a very cute little spider, and I'm going to try to protect him.
How did his name go from William to Jargles in less than 2 minutes?
Wendy wanted a non-male, or she said, don't make it male or female, so Jargles.
Love it. I hope he survives. Also here, Perri Nemiroff.
Oh, hi, guys. I have a friend.
Just the tip.
I touched the tip. Get over it. It's done. There's a sausage behind me. That's how it's going to be this whole show.
Very enjoying the sausage seat for today's movie talk.
That's right.
His name is Jargles, too. Well, before we get into the rundown of awesome stories we have for you guys, we do have a developing story, and that would be Jason Momoa is currently in talks and very near signing a deal to star in a reboot of The Crow, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. So Momoa a couple days ago posted on his Instagram that he was with the director, Corin Hardy, I believe is his name, of the upcoming project. And Corin Hardy is not known to be casting anything else. And Momoa used hashtags like seal the deal, dream job. So it does appear that Jason Momoa is going to be our next Crow. This comes from a report this morning from Mashable's own Jeff Snyder, who's very reliable when it comes to this stuff. So if it does indeed turn out to be true that the speculation that Momoa is playing the Crow, Jon Schnepp, what does this do to the Crow franchise and all of these stories that you and I have been talking about and bandying back and forth since the AMC days?
4 years, literally almost 4 years, not just 4 years. 4 years we've been talking about this Crow film. They finally locked down Corin Hardy a couple of years ago, and they had a bunch of different guys, Jack Houston. They had a bunch of different...
Jargles the Spider.
Jargles the Spider was up for it for about 4 minutes. James Momoa makes it really exciting for me. I mean, what Corin Hardy is promising us as fans of the original comic book, James O'Barr's original The Crow comic, is a faithful adaptation. Even Alex Proyas's The Crow was not a truly faithful adaptation. It was it took a lot of liberties. I loved that version of The Crow. That's still my favorite version of any of the Crow films, was the original Crow film, Alex Proyas's. But I want to see what Corin does, and having someone like Momoa is, I mean, like, he is of an action caliber, just from Game of Thrones alone. It makes me very excited to see what they're going to try to do. I want to see them do the darker version of The Crow. I hope that they can do it now that they have James Momoa.
Perri, it seems like one of the sticking points of the contract may have been just getting his schedule straight with all the DC events he has coming up, and it would look like The Crow might actually be released before we see Aquaman in theaters. So are we going to see more of the Game of Thrones Jason Momoa or more of the Conan Barbarian Jason Momoa?
Would either be appropriate in this case? I don't know, but I kind of like the idea. I mean, after talking about this for so many years and after seeing, not that the actors that were in the role before are the same kind of guys, but Jason Momoa is such a drastic shift at this point that I kind of like that it's breaking away from what we knew the film to be before. So let's get a fresh start. And wow, if that movie comes out before Aquaman, after all this talk, that's incredible. I hope it happens. I want to see it.
I was the one that was complaining just about every time we had a Crow story because it just never seemed like it was going anywhere. And I'm like, why are we wasting a rundown topic talking about this? But Jason Momoa, he made Aquaman cool. And the movie isn't even out yet.
That's right.
I think he's going to knock the Crow out of the stadium. This is very, very exciting news to kick our show off today. And now we actually get into the real rundown. What's up first, Miss Mova?
Hugh Jackman has been teasing that his next go-around as Wolverine will be his last. Now it appears that Patrick Stewart will also be hanging it all up as Professor X. Speaking to ITV News, Stewart spoke briefly about the untitled third Wolverine movie, directed by James Mangold, and his role, revealing that since Professor X had already been killed off once in the franchise and still returned, it's possible that he could pop up in the role again. And while he doesn't give anything away about his final turn as Xavier, he does tease that it's like nothing we've seen before. Stewart had this to say when asked if this was the last time time he'd be playing the part of Professor X. I can't say because I don't know, but I would imagine this is probably the end of this franchise for me. But the thing about science fiction and fantasy is that you can never ever say it's the end, it's over. When pressed with the fact that Xavier has actually died and returned in the series once already, Stewart said, "Yes, I have. Jean Grey vaporized me, from which you would think there would be no return. But watch out, in March, I'm going to be back on the screen again. A very different Charles Xavier, that's all I'm allowed to say. Nothing like the Charles Xavier you've seen in the past." Wolverine 3 hits theaters on March 3rd, 2017. Mark, do you believe this is the last time we'll be seeing Patrick Stewart as Professor X?
Well, there's many exciting things to hear in that story, not the least of which is that Wolverine 3 comes out March 3rd, 2017. We're less than a year away, kids. Maybe we get a teaser sometime soon featuring a new Professor X, but I cannot believe that this is the last time we're going to see Patrick Stewart as Professor X, if for no other reason because these comments of his don't really seem like he's all that certain. He's just assuming it because they haven't talked about anything upcoming, but he said himself, Schnepp, he's died before. He's been vaporized, and they managed to bring him back. So whatever happens in this story, I'm sure they're going to be able to find a way. Nobody's better at doing time travel loopholes than X-Men. So I think this is not going to be the last time we see Professor X, played by Jean-Luc Picard. How about you?
That's right. He was turned into ashes, and then he showed up as like some kind of weird CG kind of stair-step walking weirdly from Wolverine Origins, if you remember that version, which was like a kind of a Frankenstein monster. I don't even know if it was played by Patrick Stewart. At the very end, he's like, "Come on to the ship." You know, it's like, what is that? You know, really horrible.
We don't talk about that.
Okay, Wolverine Origins never happened because that got time mapped out with the X-Men future past kind of super loop. But yeah, you know what? I don't think he can never say never. It's like James Bond. He could come back. We know he's wearing a beard. Once you go beard, you never go back. You know, it's like he's wearing a beard. Wolverine's wearing a beard. They're done. They're out. They're dead. But until another check shows up. So I'm happy to see that Wolverine and Professor X are teamed up for Wolverine 3. Can't wait to see what they do.
Perri, I can't possibly ask you to supersede Jon Schnepp's beard knowledge, but
Yeah,
what do you
clearly.
think about Patrick Stewart playing Professor X, maybe for the last time?
I was guessing that this was going to be his last time, so I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of proves true and this is the last time we see him in the role, but you guys just made the obvious point. This is a quote of him going back and forth and back and forth. One, maybe he just doesn't know. I mean, obviously he is not in the know with Fox's future plans for the franchise. And two, isn't it smart at this point for these actors to play it safe and not lock themselves into something and have a billion outlets pick up a news story? Because I've seen a lot of headlines that say this is his last X-Men movie. No, it's not. It might be his last X-Men movie, but it isn't necessarily. So I don't know. I'm not going one way or the other, but I am just guessing, as I was guessing before this statement, that this will be his last.
You make a great point that even when actors come out and say, this is definitely the last time I'm doing this, it's the last time, it rarely is. So if somebody, the actor by their own admission is like, I'm not really sure, I'm guessing it's my last time, kind of hard to put any money or faith in the fact that this will be the last time we see Patrick Stewart play Professor X.
Can I add one little side thing? Yesterday we talked about the Resident Evil final chapter.
Oh, boy.
Watch the international trailer because it doesn't have the Guns N' Roses song, and it actually made me want to see the movie. It actually does everything we talked about as far as like showcasing all the different characters, showing all the first 5 films, and leading up to it's an incredible trailer. It's not the American one that they dumbed down for us stupid Americans and threw a music video at us. It's actually really cool trailer. So go online and watch the final chapter, Resident Evil, the final chapter, international trailer.
I don't know how we just got from Professor X to that, but I'm on
said the
top
final thing,
priority
final
after we
chapter.
wrap. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm probably not going to watch it. All right, what's our next story?
Tom Cruise and Doug Liman dealt with a title change during their time on Edge of Tomorrow, which started its journey with the title of All You Need Is Kill. Now the actor-director team have made a similar move with their new Universal Pictures film, one that was formerly known as Mena and will now be known as American Made from here on out. The story follows the true-life exploits of a CIA recruit tasked with running a massive covert operation. In addition to the title change, American Made will also also be shifting from its original January 6, 2017 release date to Friday, September 29, 2017. American Made stars Cruise alongside Donald Gleason, Sarah Wright, and Jesse Plemons. Gary Spinelli wrote the first draft of the script, with Mission Impossible Rogue Nation's Christopher McQuarrie doing an uncredited rewrite. The film is produced by Imagine Entertainment's Brian Grazer and Cross Creek Pictures' Brian Oliver and Tyler Thompson. Schnepp, do you think it's a smart move to change the release date of newly titled American Made?
Yeah, and just seeing that still, now you kind of like understand where Mena came from. It's the bank that they're like in charge of. So, yeah, American Made's a better title, I think, and moving it 9 months forward will give it the proper time for people to actually see a trailer and decide whether or not they want to go see it in the theater. I think it's the team of Lyman and Cruise worked really well with All You Need Is Kill, whatever the hell it was called, Future Death of Time to Kill. What was it called? What was the weird futuristic
Edge
film?
of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. I just can never remember that title.
The original title was...
Well, it was they had Live, Die, Repeat. They had they had a couple other ones, but All You Need Is Kill. I think that's the reason why, playing off your point, is that if All You Need Is Kill was the original title for Edge of Tomorrow, I'm not sure that would have been a better one, but I think that this one is an improvement over Mena, because it is such a mysterious title and it's short. It's only 4 letters. You want something big to put on the like American Made. I'm not a huge fan of the title American Made either. I think it's an improvement over Mena. And I also think that it doesn't really matter when you have Tom Cruise to put on a poster and you have this sort of source material to mine from, whatever they wanted to title this movie. They could have called this movie Jangles the Spider, and I think it still would do well. But I think American Made is an improvement over the previous title.
Mark,
how about you, Perri?
It's Jargles the Spider.
Jargles. I'm sorry, Mr. Jangles. Jargles. Back to you, Perri.
Gee, thanks. I actually think Mena might refer to Mena, Arkansas, the town where all the illegal activity would take place, which, I mean, obviously there could be a bank named that in the town too, but I kind of like the title change. It's a step in the right direction where one has a much broader appeal than the other. But the other thing it has me thinking is I'm a little concerned because I really like this story and I like the idea of adapting it to film. But the title American Made makes me think that they're turning this true story into a Tom Cruise action movie a la Mission Impossible or one of the other bajillion spy thrillers we've seen him in. So I'm just curious to see how dark and grounded they keep this, because this guy did some bad stuff and he was part of an incredible mission, and then what happened to him is kind of terrible too. So I just hope that they keep the tone a little more serious than some of his other action movies.
It's certainly a fear you might have if you hear Christopher McQuarrie comes in and does a rewrite, but you would hope that they do stick to the source material, because like Perri said, it's a fascinating story. I'm sure that the people of Mena, Arkansas are not that happy with the title change, but I think American Made is going to get even more eyeballs on your town, and you can sell t-shirts, so I think all is going to be fair.
It could also have something to do with Doug Liman's process, where he kind of shoots on the fly, so maybe they went with that title and went with that release date thinking, oh, this will be perfect for what Tom Cruise movie would be perfect for January, but maybe they thought that originally and then they saw footage and they're like, oh, summer, we got something good for that.
Sure.
So, and with that title, that says summer, Mena does not.
Right. Well, now it's moved to September 29th, so it's not a summer movie, but maybe it's starting to.
So
sniff.
it's like a baby step up from
Oscar
January,
contention?
I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely
Oscar
better than January.
contention. I don't know.
So we'll see. Oscar contention. I'm not getting that excited yet, but September 29th, maybe we'll see. In the meantime, let's go back to the future with Robin Hood.
It's been a long time since we've heard anything about the latest Robin Hood movie in development, Robin Hood Origins, a gritty take on the classic Robin Hood story that is set to star Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx. Now we have a new development concerning producer Gianni Nunari's futuristic Robin Hood picture. As THR reports, the untitled feature that reimagines the title character and his merry band in a far-flung future London has now landed a director. Experienced visual effects wizard Hazraf Hasdulul has taken the helm for Nunari and his Hollywood Gang production company, with a script turned in by comic book writer Tony Lee. The plan is to put together a team of London-based talent in order to stay true to the heart of the British legend. Dulul is currently in production on a space exploration thriller titled The Void, an adaptation of his short film Project Chronos that would be be his debut feature film. DeLull aims to break new ground in visual effects for the picture, possibly learning techniques and developing technologies he will use on Robin Hood. Nunari, who produced such films as 300 and its sequel along with Immortals and Shutter Island, was impressed with DeLull's short films, including the sci-fi thriller Sink. The team is now looking for a production start sometime in 2017. Perri, what do you think about a futuristic Robin Hood movie directed by Has?
I don't know. I guess. Is it weird that I'm a little more interested in this than I am in Robin Hood Origins?
Yeah. No, it's not.
I kind of want something, like, if you're going to do it, just go crazy and make it big and wacko. But the idea of a VFX artist directing his own feature film has me a tiny bit worried, because I think the most recent examples of that I can think of were Huntsman Winter's War, I believe, and Maleficent. And in both cases, I will say a lot of shots in those are beautiful, but at the same time, I think the focus was way too heavily on the VFX and the grand scale action and not enough on character and story. I don't want to make the same presumption about this completely different guy who, for all I know, has made great shorts with great storytelling in them, but the idea that a VFX artist is directing this movie has me a little worried that they might actually go too over the top in that respect.
I totally get that. Project Kronos is awesome, though, and this gets me really excited. I did not think I'd be gushing this much about a futuristic Robin Hood movie, which, first of all, Robin Hood took place in, the 12th century, so a futuristic Robin Hood could be medieval times, but this one is going to take it a step further, even the future for us here in 2016. With star power like Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx, that gets me, starting to think this could be something really cool and interesting. If you get that kind of star caliber on board with a project like this, that shot that we saw, I have no idea where that shot came from. I don't know if Ray, our graphics guy, drew that this morning, but it looks awesome. This guy could not only kick the ass of the sheriff of Nottingham, he could take on Hawkeye, it looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a creation of Ray, our graphics guy. But by seeing that and just thinking about a Robin Hood in the future, who's he robbing from? Like some evil conglomerate corporation. It could be really exciting. And yeah, it's way more exciting than Robin Hood Origins. I'm kind of I think everyone is tired of Robin Hood. So it's sort of like the only thing that you can really do is chuck him into the future and add some really cool action, graphics or something like that. So that's kind of what they're doing. And it sounds like they got a really good director who's done a lot of shorts and his own feature film that's not out yet to take over. So for me, it's exciting news, especially when you're talking about something like Robin Hood.
And you would hope it's not called Robin Hood Origins. That's a pretty awful title.
Well, what would we call it? I'm Robin the future. What would it be called? What is it,
Rob Hood, probably. Probably goes by Rob Hood in the future. like Rob,
Yeah?
Oh, boy.
What about just Hood?
Just Hood's not bad.
That's
Hood's
intense.
Not bad. Yeah.
It'd be kind of weird, just Hood with all computer Tron-like lettering.
We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
That's like Assassin's Robin Hood right there.
Yeah.
Assassin's Robin Hood is not bad either. We'll
nice
spitball this and then get back to you. In the meantime, you guys are probably selling our titles for the new Robin Hood movie. But again, futuristic smart bow and arrows, that's the name of it.
I like it.
All right, let's move on to buy or sell. This is the part of the show where Ashley's going to give us a topic. Then we will simply say whether we buy it or sell it and throw some elbows in the midst. What do we got first, Ash?
If you haven't figured it out by now, here's a little reminder. You do not screw with The Rock. Taking to his Instagram account yesterday, The Rock had some strong words to share about his male co-stars on Fast and Furious 8. He didn't name any names, but he did say the following. My female co-stars are always amazing and I love them. My male co-stars, however, are a different story. Some conduct themselves as stand-up men and true professionals, while others don't. The ones that don't are too chicken shit to do anything about it anyway. Candy asses. The bright side to all of this might just be that The Rock will use their bad behavior to his advantage by letting it influence his performance. He finished calling out the men by saying, when you watch this movie next April and it seems like I'm not acting in some of these scenes and my blood is legit boiling, you're right. Many now wonder what happened, who got on his nerves. Though The Rock hasn't confirmed who it is he was speaking about, the press must be readying their questions for the inevitable Fast 8 press tour, which will happen ahead of its April 14, 2017 release date. Mark, do you buy or sell The Rock's comments made about his unnamed male co-stars?
Huge buy, Ashley. This is getting juicy.
Yes,
wow.
it is.
And this seems a lot like a sports team, like a franchise when you have a star player and they have no other alternative but to call out one of their teammates because they're not practicing as hard as everybody else, or it just may be a publicity stunt. Like either way, like we've seen all these shots of him in prison, and there's the one shot he's got like the long beard where he looks like Gandalf with a Crunch membership, and it's like, all right, maybe he's just getting into character and he's being more of a villain than we've seen The Rock be in real life ever, or since it's wrestling days anyway. But I kind of think he's actually upset about somebody. That's just the way I'm taking this, Perri. How about you?
I actually hope he's upset about something and it isn't a publicity stunt, because it's a really negative stunt to do if that's what happened. I think I'm selling it just because I don't like that kind of behavior in the professional sphere. I totally understand someone getting pissed and frustrated with someone who's not giving their all on a project, but you deal with it behind the scenes. You don't bring it to social media, especially when you've got, who knows how many followers The Rock has. But not to like make this even more gossipy, but TMZ released a report this morning that said it was Vin Diesel, and that the people on the film are pissed that The Rock did this at all. So, I mean, it just goes to show, just keep it to yourself and like do a meeting behind closed doors and figure out your problems, and don't bring it out into the public on Instagram. Maybe
do a meeting behind closed doors, but have some cameras rolling during that meeting in case we get a sweet fight like we did in Fast 5. Schnepp, are you buying or selling this?
I'm going to buy what The Rock is cooking because, what he's selling is some Vince McMahon flavor. This is some WWF style
you
stuff.
You guys are part of the problem.
I don't know. Mark, what do you think about this?
Look,
it doesn't matter what you think because this is wrestling. I got you, baby. I got you. Yes, I do not believe 1 second of The Rock's candy-ass thing, except that he is selling it hard, and I love The Rock. Bam.
Every time. I forget
I love it,
that's going to happen every time, and you just seem so natural when you do it. Like, damn, that's good. I'm buying that. What's our next story?
The Chronicles of Narnia franchise is heading back to the big screen. Disney's set about adapting author C.S. Lewis's fantasy series with 2005's The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was then followed by the sequels, The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, and The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. But the franchise came to a halt soon after the 2010 release of Voyage. This past January, Collider's own Haley Fouch learned from producer Mark Gordon that the series was getting a reboot with an adaptation of the fourth book, The Silver Chair. Gordon said, "It's all going to be a brand new franchise, all original characters, different directors, and an entire new team that this is coming from." Deadline now reports that the Sony-based TriStar Picture is teaming up with the Mark Gordon Company to bring The Silver Chair to theaters. Life of Pi scribe David Magee is on board to write the script. The Silver Chair story picks up decades after the events of Voyage, with Prince Caspian now an old man whose son and only heir goes missing. Aslan the Lion sends a pair of children from England to Narnia in an attempt to recover him. A release date has yet to be set. Schnepp, buy or sell a new movie in the Narnia franchise?
I'm gonna tentatively buy it. I mean, I didn't watch Prince Caspian. I kind of fell off after the very first one, The Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe, which I thought was good, but I just, it didn't really appeal to me to see the second or third one. So like I said, I mean, I think that they're rebooting it is a smart move because I think it just kind of trailed off after they kind of floundered around even figuring out whether they were going to do the third one. I think that came out many years later. So why not just do a fresh reboot, but continue on? Don't remake the first three, because by doing The Silver Chair, you could still get a lot of those people who like the first three because you're doing it like many years later. So it's basically Prince Caspian's an old grandpa now, so it makes sense that you can, hey, just start over kind of fresh. That's my feeling about it.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's too soon to try to reboot this thing because it's still fresh in people's minds that we had Narnia movies and they kind of went like this as they got released, both in critical reception and also audience box office receipts.
Right.
So I gotta sell it for right now. Maybe 5-10 years down the road, I think I'd be more interested in seeing a new imagining of Narnia. But I don't think that you've given enough time. Sometimes you can reboot things quicker than others, and it's just taking the temperature of the room out there. And I don't think that the room is ready for new Narnia movies. I think it might get confusing. I think people might wonder whether we're continuing with the previous Narnia movies. So I hope they're great. I haven't hated the Narnia movies. I've actually enjoyed them, but it just doesn't sound like anything that I'm going to be interested in yet. Maybe give it a little more time to incubate. How do you see it, Perri?
Yeah, I've enjoyed them all well enough, but I think I'm actually going to sell this primarily because of Sony. If it had landed somewhere else, maybe I'd be a little more open to the idea, but for some reason, I just don't have that much faith in Sony right now bringing a new franchise like this or their own spin on this franchise to theaters. I don't think people are all that interested anymore either, but I don't know. I had enough fun with the originals that I want it to work out, but I feel like if someone, like let's say if Netflix said, oh, I'm going to make a series on this, then I might be more intrigued, but I don't think we need another feature film. And then this story would have the character that Will Poulter played, and I liked him in that role, but I assume it would be recast, which is sad because he's like a giant now.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to wonder who's going to be voicing Aslan. You get back Liam Neeson for like a little bit of tie back, but if they want to go in a total reboot direction, then they wouldn't want Liam Neeson to come back and be the voice of the lion.
I can't imagine anybody else but Liam Neeson voicing that lion.
Did anybody read The Silver Chair? That one?
No.
It just seems like a kind of a weak story. Like the lion, okay, so an heir goes missing, and the lion can't find anybody in his own universe to go rescue an heir, so he's got to go get 2 British kids?
Hang on a second. Mark Ellis, are you saying you read this book?
No, I didn't read the book.
All right,
I'm
I'm just making sure, because you
from
say
the
you don't read
description,
books.
It's like,
all right.
It's like, oh, well, man, there's magical talking wolves here, and there's manitars, but no, I'm going to go get 2 8-year-old tykes from another land to come in and rescue. This is
Kind of
weird.
weird. Kind of weird.
The lion's decision-making is suspect to me. Ashley, did you ever read any of the Chronicles of Narnia books?
I didn't read the books, but I've seen the movies, and I've kind of had enough at this point. And I think a reboot, like this is just too soon. Like, I don't know. It's going to be hard to separate, and I think I've had enough of the franchise. I don't really know how I'm feeling about this. I'm going to sell it, I think.
It's got to be a bad sign that this thing has bumped from studio to studio. Right. Doesn't anyone know when to pull the plug? Obviously, it's not going to work.
No. Look, I'm rooting for you, Narnia. I've dated women that lived in your land, but I don't know that it's going to work out well for you. We'll have to wait and see. And now our last buy or sell features a new holiday classic for Jon Schnepp, right?
Yes, it does. The first Red Band trailer for Bad Santa 2 has been released online. The comedy sequel, directed by Mean Girls director Mark Waters, sees Billy Bob Thornton reprising his role as Willie Soak and teaming up once again with Marcus, played by Tony Cox, in order to knock off a Chicago charity on Christmas Eve. A wrench is thrown into their plans, however, when the pair are joined by Willie's mother, Sunny, played by Kathy Bates. Bad Santa 2 also stars Mad Men's Christina Hendricks and is written by Johnny Rosenthal, Doug Ellen, and Sana Cross. It opens in theaters on November 23rd. Perri, buy or sell the new Red Band trailer for Bad Santa 2.
I feel like I need to buy it just because of that image, which is kind of hard to look at. But I am actually just going to buy it because it is a Bad Santa sequel, not because I like this trailer, because it started, and the first joke they dropped where he's nasty to someone on the street, words I cannot repeat on this show, I laughed out loud. After that, crickets. And not that I wasn't enjoying what I was watching, but when you give me a Bad Santa 2 trailer, I want to be laughing out loud from start to finish. And, you know, I'm psyched to see Kathy Bates, and Octavia Spencer has a curious scene in there, but this trailer just didn't do it for me, but I'm still going to say it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the original Bad Santa. I need to go back and watch it again. This trailer came on, and I started watching it, and I was like Perri. I was laughing at more stuff than maybe you were. In the first 30 seconds, I was howling, and then it started to get a little, feel a little repetitive. They're relying on the same kind of jokes as the first one, which is fine. I like that they introduced some of the characters that we know from the original, and then also seeing that Kathy Bates punch at the end picked it up a notch for me. So I'm going to buy this trailer. It's not like a soaring buy like I wanted it to be, but there's enough in there to make me think it's going to be a funny movie, but I don't know that it differentiated itself all that much from the original that I've already seen. So what do you think, Schnepp?
I enthusiastically buy it, but I'm probably a little bit biased. I watch Bad Santa every year. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's mean-spirited and it's really funny, and I cannot get enough of it. And now I think I'm going to get more, obviously, with Bad Santa 2. So to see all these characters come back, and yeah, they dropped the F-bomb way too much in this trailer. But for me, it was just saying that, look, man, we're not afraid. We are going to make Bad Santa 2, and we're going to make it probably more mean-spirited than the first one, and that they got that little kid back who's now an older guy, Brett Kelly, but he looks exactly the same, only bigger. It's just fantastic. So I am hoping and praying that Bad Santa 2 is the meanest Christmas movie I've ever seen in my life and keeps that mean-spirited fun edge. So I'm really hoping, because that's what it delivered for me in the trailer. I laughed through the whole thing because it was like old home week, seeing all those characters back, but with a new spin with Kathy Bates. So I'm looking forward to the film.
comedy sequels rarely fare well, critically or from audiences. And I think one of the reasons why is because a lot of times they're just treading over the same ground. Do you think Bad Santa has to do something different? Or can we just have 2 more hours of kids sitting on Billy Bob's lap and him making fun of him? Because I could go for that. Right. I just want to know your take because you love the first one.
I think it has to go somewhere different. And I think it is going to have a couple of repeatable sequences like the kid sitting on the lap and saying all the weird stuff and him like not understanding, him trying to get that kid, in his older life, moving him forward. Like, I don't know what happened between the end of Bad Santa and this one, but obviously some really bad things. So we're going to find out where these characters ended up, and hopefully they do something different. So yeah, I would like to see a slightly different storyline, but I think it'll be a little bit of old home week mixed with some of the newer
Some
elements.
of those jokes can still last just because modern times. We see it when the kid's sitting on his lap and he's rattling off all those game titles and he doesn't know. I didn't laugh out loud, but I thought that was kind of funny, and that's something to me that could make the same jokes playable again to modern audiences now.
Well, it's an enthusiastic buy from Schnepp, and Perri and I gingerly handing over our cash with some trepidation. Now let's check in with Wendy, who's been monitoring all of you guys in the live chat room. Wendy, first of all, let's go all the way back to the Wolverine 3 story. Do the fans think this could be Patrick Stewart's last turn as Professor X? And then I also want to get their take on the Bad Santa 2 trailer.
Well, the Professor X story is definitely sad news. The chat loves Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and some say that he deserves to finally relax. He's paid his dues in the X-Men universe, and that bald head lives on forever. Suigor says, it seems like Xavier's role in Wolverine 3 is via flashbacks rather than the actual movie events. And moving on to our Bad Santa story, the chat agrees with Perri and Ellis regarding the trailer. They're also saying that this is just another sequel that no one's asked for, and it's 10 years too late. Mark Hansen says, even though comedy sequels are usually not very good, I want to see this. The first movie was just so laugh out loud funny, I give this a chance.
All right, well, we will all give it a chance later on this year. And now we go on to one of my favorite segments of the week. When I'm on Wednesdays, that is AMC Rewind. Ashley is going to tell us the movies that came out 10 and 20 years ago. This week, what do we got?
10 years ago, there was Zoom, and I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, and Step Up. And 20 years ago, there was The Fan, Tin Cup, Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood.
Yeah, I what's weird is that I love Tin Cup as a movie, but
what a weird week.
This is the middle of the summer,
I know,
too. And for these movies to come out 10 years ago, it's like, oh, jeez, what the hell?
I just didn't realize all those people were in I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Is that legit?
Yeah.
Like all those people from the original cast?
Solid cast, man, from the original cast of I Know What You Did Last
And look
Summer.
at that horrible poster.
I know.
Like everybody's like poorly photoshopped with a black background. It's a black background. You should at least be able to do a good Photoshop.
Okay, clearly you guys aren't understanding the gravity of the situation, that they're always going to know what you did last summer.
And this is the third one, right?
Yeah, meaning summers have passed. And maybe even they didn't run over a weird dude in these subsequent summers, but they're still always going to know everything that you did in every summer.
Did they do a fourth one? I'll still always know what you did last summer?
I don't know, man, but sci-fi should get rid of the Sharknado stuff and start getting on the I will always know what you did this fall train, going into the future.
I still know what you did last winter.
I saw none of those movies from 10 years ago, but 20 years ago I saw every one of those movies, and Tin Cup is like the one that stands out to me as like the best movie. The ending like breaks my heart every time I watch it, but it's still a really good watch, and I'm a huge fan of Kevin Costner, Rene Russo, and golf. But Bordello of Blood too, like Dennis Miller walking around cracking jokes. I've never seen this before on a talk show, but Dennis Miller, who I'm a huge fan of and loved his HBO show in the mid-90s, he was promoting Bordello of Blood on I think either Letterman or Leno, and they asked about the movie, and Dennis Miller's like, look, I'll be honest with you, it's a piece of crap. You don't need to go see it. And the audience is laughing. Yeah. Dennis Miller making fun of the own movie that he's supposed to be promoting that week, but I had some chuckles with it. Perri, what about you? What from these movies stand out to you?
Well, I might actually go home after this and watch I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Not lying, because I like doing things like that to myself, but Tin Cup is probably the winner for me. I am a big fan of golf. My parents are really big golfers, and I was pretty young when that came out, and my mom would watch it all the time, so I would watch it all the time, and I'm pretty sure that's why whenever I'm on the golf course and I should be taking the safe way around a tree, but no, I just go for it. I go for it. Even if it completely screws over my score, I'm going to do it because I'm inspired by that movie.
I missed our driving range rendezvous this weekend. How was it?
You better watch out for me. I've got one club in LA, and I'm going to beat you all with it.
Damn.
I putt with my hybrid. Watch out.
Semi Ballesteros is going to beat me with a 5-iron. by himself. What do you got, Schnepp?
Brutal golf. I want a handicap of 4,000. You know what? Bordello of Blood sticks out to me because Dennis Miller's right. That movie sucked. But you know what was really good? Tales from the Crypt. The first one, Demon Knight, which was great. If you want to watch one of the Tales from the Crypt movies, watch that one. You could skip Bordello of Blood. It's just a joke.
And the show, Tales from the Crypt, was great.
Tales from the show, the series, the HBO series is great, and I love that. I love the comic book, so I love all that stuff. Just Bordello of Blood was just too jokey. And so, yeah, Dennis Miller, you're 100% right. It's crap. But the other one that sticks out is... now I'm forgetting what it was called. It doesn't stick out enough.
You got Tin Cup, you got The Fan, you got Zoom, you have I'll Always Know What You Did.
Step Up with Brianna Evigan. Man, she's
no,
really
wrong
talented.
one. That's Step Up to the
No,
Streets.
that's Step Up 2.
No,
Whoa.
this is Step Up. No,
Guys.
Is that not Channing Tatum?
It's Channing Tatum.
Oh, well then
Sorry,
I'm totally
y'all.
wrong.
The only way to settle this Step Up feud is a dance-off.
Absolutely not.
Wait, I'd rather golf, but I'll get my ass beat. All right, just forget about it. I'll still always never know what I did last summer.
How could you guys not talk about Step Up though? Step Up. I want to say that this was like Channing Tatum's like breakout role.
It was his breakout role.
Yeah,
you're right.
or maybe She's the Man. I don't know which came first, but this is where he
love
met his
She's the
wife,
Man.
and I love this movie. It got me so hyped.
Nice.
I will say it was a notch on Channing Tatum's belt. I can't say it's his breakout role because Channing Tatum came on the scene. It was like a dancer, and he was in that like fighting movie, and it's like, oh, this guy he looks pretty, but he can't act. Then he was in. I can't remember which one he was in that like really showed us. Oh, this guy's actually like a movie star. I don't think it was Step Up though.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, this got him on the map.
Okay.
Can you guys tell me what Zoom is? Because that looks, I
idea.
never saw it, never heard of it ever. And it looks like it's like Fantastic Four Children with Tim Allen. That's what I mean. It looks like. It looks like
It's guinea pigs and they race in CGI cars.
Oh my God, I want to see it.
That's not necessarily true, but that's the Zoom I would write.
I would watch.
I would watch that movie.
I would watch that.
All right, now let's move on to Mailbag. But we do want to remind you guys at the end of this show, we're going to save some time for your live Twitter questions. So go ahead, start tweeting us right now at Collider Video. And anytime you guys can send us an email, ask us whatever you want, be as original as possible. We'll answer it either on Movie Talk or on our weekend shows Mailbag. That's collidervideo@gmail.com. What's up first in the mailbox, Ash?
Aiden writes, in your opinion, what is the best / favorite movie adaptation of a book? My favorite would be Jaws and Jurassic Park, both movies that even exceeded the book as being better.
Well, you took my pick, which would have been Jaws. I know that The Godfather and Goodfellas, for that matter, are also based on source material. So I would say that a lot of times mob movies, they seem to take from the novel to the screen pretty well. Stephen King movies, not so much, but I will say The Shining, even though he didn't love the version of The Shining that Stanley Kubrick made in 79 or 80, I think, I loved it, and it's still one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, so I'll go with The Shining. How about you, Perri?
Well, Jurassic Park would have been my pick if it wasn't set in there. Yeah. I have that book, and it just sits on my nightstand. It's like the only book that sits out all the time. I've read it so many times, and I could still read it, love both the book and the movie, but to throw out a more recent example, I think Room is one of the best book-to-screen adaptations I have ever seen. I had read the book a couple of times before seeing the movie, and I was pretty attached to it and pretty attached to the way that story played out and the characters around the two main characters. The movie adaptation obviously has to pare it down a little because a movie can only be so long, and I thought that was really going to bother me because there's certain supporting characters that put the other characters in situations that are really, really interesting and probably would have played well on screen, but then you'd wind up with a really bloated movie, which wouldn't be good. But I said this on our Oscar show, if you've seen the movie Room, don't think that the book is spoiled for you. You can watch the movie and then read the book and still appreciate them. Or you could go vice versa and do it the opposite way. One will always enhance the other, which is one of the coolest things ever.
All right, the bar set pretty high by Perri and myself, Schnepp, and our writer who gave us Jaws and Jurassic Park. How can you possibly top that?
Can't possibly top it, but I will say Arthur C. Clarke's 2001, he wrote it in tandem with Stanley Kubrick, and it's totally different from the book to the movie, but they both stand on their own. And I'll say Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was a completely enthralling novel that I read as a kid, and then I saw the movie Blade Runner, totally different film, but still also one of my favorite all-time films. So I think the adaptation process, things change, they have to change. I mean, look at, I love David Lynch's Dune, but it is in no way, shape, or form Frank Herbert's Dune. But they live together. They can live side by side with each other. And like, I think sometimes adaptations, when they take risks and take chances, that's when they really succeed.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you always think of the movie based on the novel, but all the ones that we chose, or most of them, are actually they deviate a little bit from it. But that ends up for a richer experience for both the reader and the viewer, of which I am one of those. Okay, what's up next in the mailbox?
Jay Dargan writes, "Hello, Collider crew. I love what you do and how you act as positive role models for members of the film fan community.
Well, thank you.
I hope you continue to be successful in this space. Every year for as long as I can remember, I watch Schindler's List in the beginning of August. My question is this: are there any movies that you watch every year like a ritual? Thanks and keep being an inspiration."
Well, earlier we were talking about Jon Schnepp's holiday tradition, which is watch Bad Santa. The one that my family employs is we watch Scrooged, the one with Bill Murray,
Nice.
Scrooge-Ed. I think it's just such a funny movie, and it holds up to this day. Both gets you in the Christmas spirit, and you get classic, vintage, apex level Bill Murray. And then usually around this time of year, maybe later in August, getting into September, I'll watch like 8 football movies in a row. Remember the Titans is one that I remember watching a couple years ago. Then I watched it again last year, so that might start to be my football ritual going forward to get me pumped up for that fantasy draft, which I'm going to win this year. What do you got, Schnepp?
Well, Bad Santa and Rare Exports is a double feature I do. Rare Exports is a very strange Krampus style, I believe it's Swedish film. It's a really fun film. I also do like John Hughes movies, like Breakfast Club, obviously Ferris Bueller's 16 Candles. Like not the same ones every year, but like at least once a year we go back and watch one of those because they're really fun.
All right, Perri, your annual traditions in far as cinema goes.
Well, I watch Jurassic Park like every week, so I guess that doesn't count. But for annual ones, I go with the holiday.
Well,
Like
it's
that.
Saturday.
Jurassic Park. For Christmas, it's A Christmas Story. And part of the reason I love it so much is because my sister is the anomaly and she hates it. So I'll put it on anyway. And even though we're still adults, I have to do it. Independence Day. And I'm still trying to brainwash myself to forget Resurgence.
Never happened.
And Trick or Treat, which FearNet, when it was still around, they used to do the 24-hour marathon. And if you knew how many times I would watch Trick or Treat on Halloween, you'd be concerned for me.
That's a great call too. I think AMC is the one that they run like it's like 72 hours of programming that is just scary horror movies around Halloween. So check them out. A lot of good stuff. Ash, do you have any like annual rituals? What does the Mova family watch?
Probably Elf on Christmas.
Nice.
Yes.
It's a good one. A lot of people are saying Elf in the chat room as well for their favorite Christmas movie. So good picks, gang. Now we move on to live Twitter questions. So, Ashley, they've been tweeting us in for the last couple minutes.
That they
What
have.
do you picked up?
Kylo writes, "Do you have any films that no matter how many times they're on TV, you still watch it?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Perry's going to answer Jurassic
Just
Park.
guess. Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to go with Jaws is one. Die Hard, the first 3 Die Hards actually are other ones that I will always watch when they're on. And I think Indiana Jones, particularly for whatever reason, like Raiders of the Lost Ark I love Temple of Doom, but Last Crusade is the one that every time it's on, I will watch it, if for no other reason, because I know I'm setting myself up for disappointment when I want to watch the entire end credits scroll with them riding off into the sunset, and then they cut it off, and it's like, oh, sorry, we got to make room for whatever the step up. It's up next.
Right. Easy Rider would be one for me. You know,
You just crank up when they're going across country. And Born to Be
Trading
Wild.
Places is another one. At anywhere, anytime, wherever they are in that movie, the beginning, middle, or end, if I'm flipping around and seeing what's on, I usually don't do that anymore. But when I used to, it would be Trading Places. I would just lock in and watch it from wherever it started. Even if it was the beginning of the film, I love that film.
I'm looking at that Bad Moms poster behind you, and it makes me think Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is on TV quite a bit, and every single time that movie is on, it doesn't matter where it starts, I have to finish it.
That is such a good answer.
It's a good film. It's really funny. I love
It
that
is,
film.
yeah. And I think Bad Moms has a chance to be that movie on cable, but there's so much swearing in there that it's going to have to be more of like an HBO, Showtime, Cinemax operation.
Yeah, that's an
TBS.
R-rated movie.
Yeah, it is a hard R. But
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, that scene where he had to kill that pig. It still makes me laugh.
that whole movie is so funny. All right, what's up next?
A. Clay writes, "What movie offended you the most?"
Oh, boy. I don't know that I've ever been offended by a movie, but I'll give you a very recent example. Is a movie that I saw last night, Pete's Dragon. Good movie. It's a good movie.
Offended you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the way that they portray humanity is just like we're all just awful slobs that just want to go after and kill a dragon. Like it really, really bugged me. And then seeing the drag, like, God, I felt bad for that dragon. I'm not gonna tell you guys what happens, but like, the dragon, he has some trials and tribulations. It's Pete's dragon. They're having a great day in the forest, and then humans have to come in and wreck the picture. And God, it really did something. I set myself up last night because I put up an emotional wall. Because if I didn't, I knew I would cry and start thinking about like our dog Molly, but I didn't do that. But yeah, Pete's dragon offended me a little bit.
Is it gonna make me cry if I see it?
If you don't put up the wall ahead of time.
I don't know if I could build that wall. All right, what's the question? I forgot already.
What movie offended you?
Oh, offended me? No, I don't really get offended by films. Let's Be Cops I walked out on because it was so stupid.
For you, Perri.
You guys know I'm offended by Independence Day Resurgence, but
Yes.
because you got the pet thing on my brain right now, Marley and Me.
Oh,
I was absolutely furious, and I had read the book. I know how that book ended. That doesn't give you any right to show what you show at the end of that movie. I've cried during movies before, but that movie, I was sobbing, uncontrollable, where as the credits rolled, I had to sit in my seat and just freaking cry.
Yeah, I talk about putting up emotional walls. There's no Matt Damon isn't going to build a wall big enough to put that thing. I will weep watching Marley and Me. That's a movie where it's on TV. I will run from the.
That's a movie where if I'm like a guest in someone's home and they are watching it, I will demand they shut it off or I will leave.
We know what's really offensive was that Ridley Scott movie. Was it The Consultant? What was it called?
Counselor.
The Counselor.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, should we just leave? I was like, through the whole movie, should we just leave? I hated it that so much. It was truly offensive.
One that I got up and left. I was with I wasn't even we weren't even dating yet. We weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend. I wanted to date this girl, but I couldn't tolerate the movie. So I got up and said, I'm going to go play Crazy Taxi in the lobby while you watch the rest of The Mexican with Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts.
Wow.
Hated that movie. Could not stand it. It was so boring. So good. We got to air some grievances.
I feel better now.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. All right. Let's do one more Twitter question, Ashley.
Okay, Gravy Train. Oh, Gravy Train, huh? Right. Right. So what the H happened to that animated Popeye movie?
The animated Popeye movie.
What happened to it?
Yeah.
They just straight up canceled it.
It just didn't happen.
Yeah,
what else do you know about the Popeye movie?
They were making it, and they got pretty far into making it. I don't think they finished it, but they had a lot of animation done, and just I guess wasn't really working with what they want, how they perceived Popeye to be rebooted or whatever. It was like olive oil's too thin. I don't know what the problems were, but
not true to Popeye canon.
Yeah, he's not eating enough spinach. I don't know what they did.
I can't. What is that? What are you giggling at? Okay, you guys are gonna have to. Ashley, you're gonna have to turn around.
They're not sharing.
Thing.
They're not sharing.
Show them.
Oh my God.
What is it?
What is that picture of Ellis?
What did that person do to me?
They turned you into an ET.
You look like the Brad Stahl Snapchat filter. Oh my God, it was too funny.
It's nice to know all you guys are having fun with technology while we're in here working hard,
sweating.
If you want some facts about Popeye, though, the last headline that Collider.com covered was Sony's CG Popeye movie loses its director. And then I was going to read the actual piece and give you some real information, but then she showed me that. So
yeah, what was the director's name again? It was like
it is the director of Hotel Transylvania. I don't want to pronounce his name. Gendy Tartakovsky, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was out, and
well, the
I
Hotel
don't see
Transylvania
why.
movies do pretty well.
No, Gendy's an incredible.
After some creative disagreements.
Well,
That's
Gendy's
what it
an
was.
incredible director. He directed a lot of the Clone Wars, as far as the animated, the hand-drawn Clone Wars, not the CG Clone Wars. He designed a lot of those characters. He's incredible. He did now I'm drawing like Samurai Jack is his animated series that he's continuing on with Adult Swim right now. So guy's super talented, but that he left the movie was probably why the movie just stopped.
Yeah, I just don't know that Popeye's the guy I want to see on screen for 90 minutes,
Yeah.
Like if Robin Williams can't bring him to life in a way that I care about, I'm not sure that you're going to be able to do that. I get why you would want to think that, like they brought back Peanuts in such a splendid way last year and have that same style of animation, but Perri, is Popeye the character from your childhood cartoon history that you really want to see on the big screen? screening?
No, not at all. I read a little bit of the Popeye comics, and that was about it. But can you think of a single kid out there who would want a Popeye movie, especially when all that's out there right now is Secret Life of Pets and stuff like that? Like Sing. Nobody wants this right now, or no younger moviegoers at least.
If they do a movie like Wreck-It Ralph that has a lot of cartoon characters in there, I'm gonna be upset if Popeye doesn't, make a cameo in the same like Yosemite Sam. I don't need to see a real Yosemite Sam movie by himself, but if it's him and a bunch of other Looney Tunes, I'd be happy with that. So maybe Popeye gets a cameo on the other team in the new Space
Jam. Like a walk-on. Hey, give me through the Mark Ellis. Give me the screen.
However he talks. The forearms to back it up too, and he eats a lot of spinach. That is all for us here today on a very action-packed, emotional episode of Collider Movie Talk. I want to thank everybody joining us today, both behind the camera helping us out and up here with me. First of all, Miss Wendy Lee, monitoring the chat room faithfully all day. Where can everybody find you out there?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
And Mr. Jon Schnepp, sitting to my left, where can everybody find you, sir?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp, and taking care of Jargles the spider, our new mascot.
Perri, where can everybody find you and your new sausage friend?
Oh boy. Well, clearly, right? Should I do it again?
Yes.
No.
She touched the tip.
Adam's really disturbed right now.
Our tech guy does not like seeing that.
Shaking his head no.
Cody's loving it, but Adam not so much.
No, it's great.
Oh,
it's great.
God, this
It's
got
great.
awkward. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nemiroff. Collider Nightmares every Tuesday and every Saturday on Best of the Week. And I want you guys all to watch Best of the Week this Saturday because we have something really friggin' cool on the you know.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. You guys
get
need to
ready
check
for
it
it.
out.
I'm not spoiling anything here, but you're going to want to watch Best of the Week on Saturday.
All right, Best of the Week does come out every Saturday. And if you happen to find a phone somewhere that has a pizza cover, it probably belongs to Ashley Mova. Where can everybody find you?
On Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Ashley Mova. Happy Wednesday, guys.
Happy hump day indeed, everybody. Make sure you guys check out amctheaters.com. That is the place to go for all your tickets and showtime information. Bookmark collider.com and subscribe right here to Collider Video. Friendly reminder that this Friday, the movie trivia schmodown is back with Mance Roca Part 2. Look at that graphic. The decider in Collider. These guys have been talking trash, I want to say all week, but really since the last one went down and ended up going in Mance's favor. So we will see how this one gets decided this Friday afternoon. As for me, I am going to be in Sacramento this weekend. Thursday through Sunday, I'll be telling jokes at the Punchline. If you miss me there, I'll be back in Northern California next weekend in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club. Just get tickets at markellislive.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.